Texas. Oh my, oh my. What a big town. Eh?
I
So,
know, and it's getting bigger and bigger since we first moved here 30 years ago. I can't believe that.
yeah, time does tend to move along pretty good.
It
Um, I
does.
go back to when the MLS book was actually a book. So, yeah. But I've managed, the second time around here, I have a 10-year-old, so I'm doing the dad gig all again, and I'm loving it the second time around here. So,
Oh, that's nice. Where are you in San Fran?
I wish I was. I spent a little time out there in Sausalito when I was in
Oh,
my 20s. And
mm-hmm.
when the background came on as something you could choose, I just went for it because I used to ride my bike over the Golden Gate Bridge, at that time in my life. So, but I'm here in New Hampshire, New Hampshire native, and
Oh,
I'm here in Durham, which is where the university town is. And
nice.
yeah, yeah. So, and I have small commercial real estate investments here and there, like a 6 unit, a four, and that sort of thing. But um, yeah, I've wanted to do podcasts now for a while, so I'm about 3, 4 months in on this, and I'm just loving it. So yeah.
It's a great
No.
way to meet people.
Oh, it is. It is. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. Yeah. So you've worn a lot of hats here. You've been a developer, a broker, author, media host. My. Um, you're based in Dallas now, but you're originally from Omaha, Nebraska. So I just do you feel some of those roots, Midwestern roots, are influencing how you do business? Like, your how you developed as a business person? What's that connection there, if I may ask?
I would say definitely my Midwest work ethic
Okay.
plays a big part dealing with commercial real estate, dealing with hard work and integrity and trust and being upfront and
Yeah.
honest. I learned a lot of really good traits from the Midwest growing up, especially grandfather and father being
Yeah. Yeah.
entrepreneurs back then.
Oh, nice. Very nice. It does tend to stick generation to generation. My dad was a real estate broker, and I
Mm,
used to help him, you know, run the lot lines on rural deals and that sort of thing. I kind of grew up in it too, but yeah. You've spent your career in commercial real estate. You've worked with some of the most recognizable brands in the country. And that kind of success and longevity doesn't happen by accident, right? Um, so yeah, warm welcome to you today. I figure I could just kind of frame in what we're going to proceed with here, and it's a back and forth conversation. There's no, you know, formal this or that. And when we get through the whole thing, you've got full editorial control. Whatever you want in there is in there. Whatever you don't is not. But typically, a lot of people, they really like this because we'll pick out different Zoom bits out of this, like a 30-second or 1 minute or so quote from you that really stands out, and then you use that in your own feed, your own social feed, whatever you feel is appropriate for it. And a lot of people like that.
great.
I'm not sure what that says about our attention span these days, but people people enjoy that, and there you go. So
I think
yeah,
it's the extent. It used to be a goldfish. I'm sure it's even smaller attention span now. I don't know who
oh
has the
yeah,
smallest attention span than a goldfish, but I'm sure it's something like an ant. Who knows?
yeah, and I guess the reverse on that would be for the people who really develop the patience and focus. Each person has a big leg up in their career. So you've done it in your career here, and I figure we just start out in commercial real estate and say how you carved your niche out in that, and then perhaps you could comment on retail restaurant development and what typical people understand about that space, typical developers, and from your perspective, what they don't understand about that based on your tremendous experience here. So, um, Yeah. So yeah,
Well,
you
thanks
so
for
you did.
having me, Bill. I appreciate you reaching out to me on LinkedIn.
Oh, you're
LinkedIn
welcome.
is
Yeah.
just such a great resource for all businesses, especially in commercial real estate. It's such a valuable tool on
Oh,
that social media
yeah.
platform
A
to do
great,
business and
great invention. Let's see. So
right.
yeah, and I've had fun. I've got to reach out and speak with some real movers and shakers like yourself. Um, People that are eager to develop their social network out there, which truly these days is becoming the real drive behind marketing. You know that social network out there, LinkedIn, Facebook. Never figured that would happen many years ago, but here we are now. So
Yeah.
um,
I used to
so
spend a lot of money on marketing, but just a little bit about myself. As you
sure,
mentioned, born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, and went off big Cornhusker fan at the
okay,
University of Nebraska at Lincoln.
yes,
Graduated actually with a degree in interior design. And
huh,
I always wanted to, we used to travel a lot as a family. I was always, as a little girl, fascinated by hotels or motels back then.
okay,
But
yep,
I wanted to do hotel interior design. And I did actually have a job offer from JW Marriott Corporation in Bethesda,
yes,
Maryland to do hotel design. So I always
mhm,
believe that if you're going to go look for a job or position, you always want to learn from the best, the number one companies. And so at that time, it was JW Marriott. And I did get a
mhm,
job offer. I ended up turning it down. I stayed in Omaha and did Omaha for an office developer, doing
yep,
office interiors for 1 year. And then after that transition, they started transitioning back in the late 80s to power centers, were the first to come out of the ground. And,
okay,
and then just worked my way into project management, leasing, always worked on that landlord, the Han Company, which was a top shopping center developer, and
hmm
moved to Maryland, moved to Los Angeles, and now based here in Dallas. We moved here 30 years ago, and then went
wow,
on the tenant side working for Brinker International, who owns currently Chili's and Maggiano's. But when I was hired as a development manager,
yeah,
I was working on they had 7 restaurants. I was on the Chili's and developed more than 50 Chili's from the ground up.
wow. There we go. Kudos to you. That kind of achievement there, that just speaks to the level and depth of your knowledge and expertise in the industry. So I got to ask here, what skills from design and entertainment say still show up in how you negotiate or develop today? Where does that fit in in what you do today?
So yeah, even,
Yeah.
even today, I still go in, designing everything,
Hmm.
with how
Yeah.
people I'm always fascinated by, and I post a lot of it on LinkedIn, of how different concepts stand out. What makes a brand stand out? What makes a Lululemon over hundreds of athletic wear? And it comes down to the brand and the marketing and the appeal and the design. And so even though I don't do interiors, I still look at it. We develop property here in Dallas, as you mentioned,
Yes.
with national tenants. And
Yes.
a lot of people think, started off in residential real estate. I've never, you would not want me selling your home. I've always been in commercial. But the good thing about Brinker, I met a lot of the landlords developing the Chili's and, met a lot of them. And I found
Mhm.
out by doing one Brinker 10-year ground lease, triple net deal, that landlord off of, anywhere from a half an acre to 2 acres could make a minimum of $500,000 profit on that one deal. And and
Mm-hmm.
I ended up finding, which I always believe, finding a good mentor. I reached
Yes.
out, I put together a business plan. I always knew I was the entrepreneur. My father was an entrepreneur, the chicken business in
Sure.
Omaha, and my grandfather. And my I always got tired of working at a job kind of around that 2.5, 3 year
Yeah.
period. And I even tell people today, if you are not waking up on Monday morning, like so ready to love to go to your job, even the holidays ending here, people were like, oh my God, I've been off for 2 weeks, dreading going back. I always say you are completely in
Yeah.
the wrong position and not living your passion because next month in February, I'll be celebrating starting and opening my own business now going on 20 years.
20 years for
And
you.
I still love
Excellent.
every Monday. I cannot wait for the weekend to be over and Monday. I still work 7 days a week, but I love Mondays. It's the same.
Yeah, yeah. Was there a specific moment or something, something in your life where you realized that commercial real estate was really your long-term calling? Was a specific something that happened or just a realization?
Well, I love shopping and I love eating and I love trying
Okay.
out love trying out new concepts and I love exploring all those. But
Hmm.
what really, wanted me to, it's all you can make as much money as you want. First part of my career was all about achievement. Older I
Yeah.
get is all about fulfillment, and I'm looking for those opportunities now. So even I'm working with a city now who does not have a sit-down restaurant for their family and community to go to. About 11,000 people. They have all the fast food. So we currently have
Yeah.
6 acres under contract, and my
Ah.
goal is to bring a nice restaurant for the community that gives me fulfillment, to
Yeah.
the
Okay.
community.
Yeah. Yeah. That would encourage the family togetherness there, and so there's benefits to the community that are there, and that's part of what drives you. Don't let me put words in your mouth here. So uh,
Yeah, that drives me. But I've always just loved commercial real estate,
okay.
how a deal is done, and I'm a very positive person. But if people really truly understood how long it takes a movie theater to get there, a new hotel,
Mm,
with all of, it can take 1 year to 10 to 20 to 30 years for deals to get done and
mm,
to enhance that community.
yeah, yeah. Now you spent many years at Brinker International. You helped develop over 50 restaurants for brands like Chili's and On the Border. So what did that experience teach you about scale and and precision in what you do? Um, the detail work, how to scale this.
Number one thing that I learned is that you have to have systems in place.
Mm,
We
mm,
were opening up more than 150 chilies in 1 year. It's
whoa,
like one every other day. And the
wow.
system that Brinker had in place with the people and the steps of everybody doing what next and everybody keeping accountable, they had such a wonderful system in place to get
Okay.
that many deals and, open. We were opening. Somebody just asked me the other day, like, how long did it take a Chili's restaurant from ground up? I'm like, it took us 4 months, from
Hmm.
the construction to hit the ground to being open as a restaurant. That's how fast they knew
Wow.
everybody had that
That's amazing.
systems.
That
So without systems and processes in place,
mm,
you're winging it. Nobody knows what they're doing, but that's the only way that I,
yeah.
have worked for these large companies, even the mall development when we were opening up 200 stores in one day, the systems and processes that people have in place. That's the only way
Hmm.
that you
That's
can scale is to have that in order.
okay. Great, great. So I got to ask you here, what separates a really good development site from a great development site? What what's the secret sauce in there?
Well, every national tenant has different requirements. So you
Hmm.
take like Starbucks, coffee place, they want to be on the going to work side,
Mm,
and a
hmm.
bank. is usually on the going home side. But
Okay.
they have it down to such a science as far as the demographics. Some of them require, how many people, the income. And so all of them are completely different. If you're looking for a good location, let's take Walgreens. We were developing Walgreens from the ground up. If you see today a Walgreens that is open 24 hours, that's one of their top locations in the country because people don't realize they have different hours and how
Yeah.
many drive-throughs. And
Oh,
and
okay.
they, so they all have different requirements as far as the access, how many cars. Most of them have a requirement of at least 20,000 cars going by each day,
Right.
looking at traffic counts,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
access. If there's
Yeah.
only access going one way, they won't take those sites. So
Right.
there's
Right.
a lot of things to look at, let alone every single city, town is completely different to work in and state. And I could open 15 Chili's a year in Texas, while my coworker would open one in California, and
Okay.
but
And the difference being, I could guess, but the difference
right,
being
the,
regulations and
it, it
yeah.
just takes a lot more. And so it just, you'll see location. If you follow some of these national tenants, a lot of them want to go in front of the grocery stores. They want to go in front of where a lot of people are shopping 2, 3 times a day. The
Hmm.
Walmart's, the Target, the Home Depot, the Lowe's. And then, what's happening a lot now are, um, a lot of the luxury are still doing really well because a lot of those products are not online. And so, that,
Right.
and they don't discount. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of
Hmm.
them are opening up, but we've just really focused on the national tenants that have multiple locations. And the way I find out how they're expanding is I'll be on LinkedIn and you can tell if they're hiring a real estate manager, they're in expansion mode.
Okay.
And then we have a lot of being here in the Dallas market, we have a lot of concepts first time coming to Nebraska, like Portillo's out of Chicago. And
Hmm.
a lot of those national brands do really, really well here in Texas because we have no main ocean, no mountains. So we eat and
Ah,
shop a lot. So we do really well in the retail and food categories.
oh, okay. Yeah, right. That's so true. So, what mistakes would a first-time developer make that a corporation would never make? Can you give some insight on that? I mean, there's successful first-time developers out there, but ooh, ah, what yeah, is it in that planning? Is it in the location part? I mean, you've gone through a lot of what what a corporation is looking for when they develop, but is there one main mistake, say, a first-time developer would make that a corporation would never make?
And we had about a 75-page due diligence for every single project to make sure we hit
Okay,
99.5%, even though some
okay,
of the projects, but
yeah,
land development is the highest risk. I mean, I've
yeah.
had utilities that were 6 lanes. I mean, they were on the other side of 6 lanes on the other side of the street. And
Oh,
if
yeah.
you didn't know, it usually comes down to the utilities. So we had to actually bore underneath those 6 lanes to bring the utilities. But a lot of the storm sewer and a lot of things can be off on zoning if you're not zoned correctly. But it usually
Mm.
comes down to the land. I mean, the land may look flat, but you start digging and not knowing what it was before. That land may cost you, 300,000, 400,000 for that acre, but it may cost you 500,000 to remediate it. And
Okay,
there's all
okay.
kinds of risk not knowing. And so having the expertise of knowing, to do those environmental, to check the soils, and knowing with the
Mhm.
city, the zoning, utilities, that's why
That's
we
where
had
the
like
main risk is.
75 pages to go
Yeah.
check every box to know, knowing where all of these items were.
Nice, nice. So, horizontal boring. So you've had to do that before. Oh my.
I
Um,
could tell you a horror, I could tell you issue on every single deal. It's very rare that you don't have
yeah.
some kind of obstacle
Hmm.
on develop when you're developing, but you just have to know those risks ahead of time and then hire the right consultants to the right architects, the right civil engineer, to help
Hmm.
you with that process.
So eventually you founded Goodwin Commercial. So what gap did you see in the market that made you want to take that leap, that courageous leap, which has been very successful?
I know it. Everybody's like, I gave up a six-figure income and all the free food I wanted. It was
And you did
probably
it.
the hardest part, but what I did is I found a good mentor who had been developing some of the Chili's and these Walgreens and single net, and he took me under his wing, and we were business partner for 4 years, and it was the best experience. He's like 90 years old today, and we still meet a couple times a year. He's still working in commercial real estate. I still love meeting with him. But I
Okay.
mean, overall, I was tired of making other people money.
Yeah, yep.
And I was
And
capped at a certain amount. And I knew the harder I worked, then they gave me on the border for the whole country. And the harder I worked, the more work I got. I'm like, you know, uh,
okay.
to be honest, and now I coach and teach and really, really try to help other people learn how to invest in commercial real estate and how to get started.
Hmm. So, was there a gap in the market that made you take the leap, or I mean, the mentorship, as you mentioned here, is pretty critical, and you would want to work for yourself. I mean, yeah, and
Right. Well, we
probably
had
any gaps in the market never really mattered to you because
I
you've
mean,
got
lucky,
the
yeah, that was 2006. And at the
okay.
time, we had boys that were just going into middle school.
Hmm.
And as a mother, I mean, lucky Brinker was flexible, but because I stayed home with them the first 4 years and then went to go work for Brinker and then realized, to be honest, I did not want to miss any of their events, and I did not want to feel guilty about taking off work. And so
Yeah.
having that was freedom to me of being
Okay.
able to go to any event, pick them up at any time, being
Yep.
home for them. And
Yes.
it just worked out really, really well during that time.
There. All right. And did the meltdown, the '08 meltdown, affect things for you guys, for you and your career at all? Or you push right through that too?
Uh, and my hashtags are never give up and hashtag find a way. And I've
Find a way. There we go.
been
All
in
right.
commercial real estate through the ups and downs and ups and downs. But I mean, 2008 was the crash that affected a lot, happening during that time
Hmm.
frame. And a lot of people dropped out of the market, and even just recently too. And after 23, 24 have been rough years for commercial real estate too, with a lot going on, and somehow you just have to find a
Hmm.
way to make it work. I always say all real estate is for sale. People are buying and leasing and selling. It's
Yeah,
always happening somewhere in your town or somewhere in the world. You just have to pivot and find a way to make it work.
there we go. All right. Let me jump into another one here. You specialize in single tenant or net leased pad sites and ground up development. Now that's based on my research here. Please correct me. But why that particular niche?
Just from the background of the Brinker days, and
Okay.
I find it's just a really good way to really to get started in commercial real estate investing. Besides the
Mhm.
ground up, which takes the longest in development, but we also buy existing buildings and then re-tenant them, redevelop them. Or we've
Oh,
actually even bought some commercial real estate existing with a tenant in it.
hmm.
and then bought it and flipped it. We recently bought a bank, and when I say we, I have one business partner. Her and I, we buy and develop property together, and our husbands love it. So
Oh,
we have
yeah.
we have completely different background and experience. She's always been in commercial real estate herself, but she's been more on the real estate finance side, and I'm more on the construction, finding the land development. But her and I are just like the perfect partners to
Oh,
find, and we've done several deals together. We bought a bank last year in Birmingham, Alabama. She found the bank, and we were going to redevelop it, and we ended up selling it
yeah.
to a Hope Credit Union, and now her and I are developing 6 acres.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Complementary skills. You guys can make it work. And
Yeah,
so,
we make it work well.
yeah, all right. And you've been working with those national brands like Walgreens, you mentioned, McDonald's, Chase Bank too.
Hmm.
Um, so what do they look for that smaller investors often overlook here? Um, you've McDonald's, Chase, boy, these are huge, big names here. Um, how do you make it work?
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize, well, they're public companies, and you can actually get on their annual reports and listen to them, and they will actually tell you how many they're closing,
Hmm.
locations, how many they're opening.
Hmm.
And we have, through our organization, you know, ICSC it's called, and then I have some local events here. But those retailers or banks and restaurants, if they're a public company, most of them have to be expanding per year. I mean,
Yeah.
let's just take Chick-fil-A. I have not done a Chick-fil-A. I'm trying to do a Chick-fil-A deal because they sell at a really low cap rate, which is really good. You want to
Hmm.
buy high at a cap rate and sell low at a
Mm.
cap rate. But a lot of those Chick-fil-A's, you'll see them throughout the country. I mean, they do 6 million, 8 million, $10 million in sales, no alcohol and closed on Sunday. So what they're
Oh,
doing is they're moving across the street, taking 2 acre sites now, and
okay.
doing a big expansion. And now they have their own coffee place. Chick-fil-A does that, is just they're getting into the coffee business, that they just
Wow.
recently opened their first location in Georgia.
Nice. Nice. So, wow. Um, in addition to your own business here, you're also chair of the zoning board for the adjustments of the city of Louisville. Um, how has that role shaped your understanding of city approvals and due diligence here?
No, I saw the opportunity. I wanted to give back to my community, and
Hmm.
just logged onto their website and saw that they were hiring for the zoning board of adjustments. And after sitting in, I think every one of my Chili's deals had to go through zoning, P and Z, city council. So it was a good way. And I just started off, at the ZBA, and then I moved up fairly quickly to the chair. And I did that
Yep.
for 6 years, and it
Ooh.
just recently ended. But that experience, like being the chair, to have
Mhm.
people come in, really taught a lot of which people are organized, how they filled out their information on, a lot of zoning cases. They had to get their neighbors' approval on if they were wanting something.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they
Hmm.
forgot to get that one neighbor approval,
Uh-oh.
you can't get two of the three neighbors. You have to get all three neighbors, let's say. But it just gave really good experience on working with the city and the planning, on being on the other side, on when you're
Yeah.
submitting for approvals, what they really look for.
Okay. Okay. And so, what advice would you give investors that are navigating zoning and entitlement challenges, perhaps? What kind of advice would you give them when they're appearing before the city?
Just to really be open and honest of what you're doing. And then if you don't have the expertise, hire the right company to make sure that you're going to get that approval on everything that's required. I mean, if they're requesting a drawing or pictures, to help your case, make sure that you're submitting all of that information and that your application is completed all the way. And just that it's in an organized, nice, neat manner, to
Hmm.
get approval, to have somebody else look at it to see what you're trying to get approved, so that you're telling the whole story and not look like you're cutting something out of it.
Okay. Okay. So pretty well getting a professional help on that in most cases, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Hire the survey company, hire the GC, hire the right architect, the right civil, the ones that have gone through the process before, and especially the ones that have worked in that city, that they know
Hmm.
the planning and they know their process to get things approved.
Nice. Right. Wow. So you've done so many things here, and you're doing something incredible that that I'm going to mention right now. You are the host of the Pan Goodwin Show, the author of several books, including Winning Ways in Commercial Real Estate, and that became an Amazon #1 bestseller. So maybe I saved the best for last. I don't know, but well, why was it important for you to share your knowledge publicly here, Pam, in books and podcasts? What was the impetus behind this?
The podcast, I had that idea because I'm just always fascinated by, flying a lot and meeting people, you know,
Hmm. Yeah.
but I like for one of the guests on the show was Gigi, who started Gigi's Cupcakes. And
Okay.
everybody's always like, okay, I have a great idea. I love to bake cupcakes. Now what do I do? And it was really fun to interview her to tell her story of what stood out was how she took out $100,000 credit card debt to
Oh,
open up
yeah.
her first location, to take
Hmm.
that risk and
Yep.
to make it happen. But I've interviewed, I mean, only, 100, mainly women, just how
Yep.
they got started. But the word that I would say almost all 100 used was the word sacrifice.
Okay. Yeah.
When they wanted to be the first NFL ref, when they wanted Captain Sandy wanted to be the yacht captain. A lot of them that I interviewed, top country singers, the word that came, like almost all of the interviews, sacrifice of what they had to
Sacrifice.
do to get where they wanted.
Mm. Wow. So do you see media as a credibility tool, a relationship builder, or both, or in your own words here, what do you see it as?
Writing the book, I had the wonderful opportunity of attending an event. And if you know Mr. Zig Ziglar,
Okay. Yep.
he was at the event and I went to go talk to him. And the first thing he asked me was, have you ever written a book? And
Oh, and that
I
was it?
said, I said, no, but I would like to. He said, that will give you the most credibility ever in your industry, he said.
Nice. Nice.
And so I put my first book together, and then I've always
Nice.
loved Barbara Corcoran, and
Yes. Oh, I enjoy listening
for
to her as well.
right
What
for real estate, and I reached
yeah,
out to her to see if she would write the cover testimonial of my 25 jobs and 25 lessons I learned about
mhm,
all the
mhm.
jobs I've had, and then I went to go meet with Barbara at our New York City office, and she provided the testimonial. And I wrote my first book, and then after that, it becomes addictive. And I wrote, like you mentioned, Winning Ways.
Yep.
I did a co-author book with 18 women in commercial real estate, and then our latest book is another commercial real estate with women trailblazers of how. Because everybody always asks me, how'd you get started in commercial real estate? I'm like, I'm going to go write a book, get 20 of the top women in the country, give them all the same questions on how they got started, how much money you make, what you learned. And I put that book together. And as you mentioned, both of those have, all become #1 on Amazon.
Amazing. Kudos to you here. My word. Whoa.
That
Um,
everybody has a book in them. So I believe if I
yeah,
can do it,
yeah.
you can write that book. And the last book, the Trailblazer book, I asked people in January that year, and by April it was on the Amazon #1. So I only gave them a few months. That's how
Wow.
quickly you can get it done. I wouldn't, I always tell people you can get it done quickly. I'm writing my fourth book now that I've set a goal to have it all published and finished by March because I'm speaking at a big event in February and I want it done. So
Wow. Oh, you've achieved so much here. So, any sneak previews on that book? What's the topic on your book?
that one's actually just on commercial real estate and how to find your first deal.
Oh, good.
I'll be sharing the pro forma that I use and a lot of, how to find the retail tenants, what to look for, and the doing your
Mhm.
due diligence,
Mhm.
be providing a lot of that information on how to actually do that first deal
Nice,
in
nice.
simple terms.
Good, good.
Mhm.
People can appreciate that. I wish I have a 6 unit and I just winged it. I did. So, oh boy. I had to have a certain cash on cash. And when I found a deal like that, I had to buy it. That was what I required of myself. And whether I thought I could do it or not, I had to do it. So I did it. But
Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
yeah. And but that's my only foray into it's only a 6 unit, but um uh, yeah, this is amazing. You've been out there and helped so many people in different ways. And perhaps if you wouldn't mind here, maybe taking it a bit more personal here, but um, you know, you you're reaching out to the public on health matters too, and so I hope I'm not being prying too much here, but you're a breast cancer survivor, and you're an advocate for annual 3D mammograms. You're getting out there and helping people all over, with this challenge. How did that experience reshape your priorities as a leader and entrepreneur moving forward here?
Yeah, it definitely changed my life being diagnosed after just an annual mammogram back in
Hmm.
October of 2019. Thank goodness our pediatrician had told me about a 3D mammogram because at the time you had to pay extra for it, even in 2019. So I did that, and then I was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer, and then all through 2020 went through
Oh.
chemo during COVID. But the best way I can describe it, I still remember going out on my patio or my front porch here.
Hmm.
And if you've ever seen the show, of course, Wizard of Oz,
Sure.
how it changes from like black and white to color.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I
Great
still
scene.
remember going out there, and even though, of course, it's color in my front yard, how how it just went so vivid. And a friend was just over today, and she said, you're going to be living your. I said, I'm going to be living my best life. I'm not putting anything else on hold. No more
Yeah.
travel, no more waiting. I can honestly say, Bill, that it was like really the first time I had been working so hard. I was like always worried about the next job, the next deal. And being diagnosed, turning my pain into passion, but I realized that first time really living in the present moment.
Hmm.
Every
Hmm.
single day I live
Yeah.
in the present. So everybody's like, how I follow you on social media. How did you do all that? I'm like, I don't even want to have time to sleep. I mean, I'm really taking the time out there, and the most
Yep.
thing that we were able to do was
Hmm.
I was looking, praying about it, looking for someone to
Yeah.
collaborate with.
Yeah.
And Tara Joseph came in my life from Nashville. And out of the blue, I just went to Nashville and met her, and her and I co-founded Kiss Breast Cancer Goodbye. And we had our first fundraiser in Nashville with Dolly Parton.
Oh, oh, okay.
And to date, we've been able to raise more than $1 million to end breast cancer.
Wow. Hey, living life to the fullest. You're mentoring a lot of people in how you live your life. uh, um, wow. So, and has that really, I suppose it's changed how you look at success, how you might define success, your experience through this?
Right.
Um,
Like I mentioned before, it was kind of started with like how much money to make. It was all about the money.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
I don't do anything unless I find like joy and fulfillment in it. And if I can help one person, even being on your podcast, and I really, thank you for having me share my story. But if I can just help like one person to go, damn right. I'm sick of going to work on Monday. I'm going to go open that popcorn store. I'm going to go invent those shoes, or I'm going to go write that book. If I have just
Mhm,
one
mhm.
person do that, brings me complete fulfillment of that. Maybe I made a small difference in someone's life. I mean,
Yeah.
even the book we
Hmm.
did with the women, they love passing it out as their, business card. Instead of a business card, they're like, here, read a book and just
Wow.
little stuff, like it really brings me, joy these days. And I'm very
Yeah.
selective on what I do. If it does
Yeah.
not, make me happy, I mean, I just say no.
Yeah. Uh, Wow. Um, Maybe I should end it there. I mean, I got a few more, say, commercial real estate questions, but may, if I may, then for anyone aspiring to be an investor or a professional trying to break into commercial real estate today, what is the one thing that they should focus on mastering first?
I just spoke with someone the other day. She was like, I'm in residential real estate. I would love to get into commercial real estate. And I'm like, what do you love to do? Or what, do you love to churches? Do you love hotels? Do you like fitness centers? To really become the
Mm,
expert in something that you do, to kind of be known for that. But
mm,
what I recommended to her is to go on YouTube
mm,
and look at some of the videos on commercial real estate, how to get started, how to buy property, how to buy my first property, start reading books and then going to events and meeting
mhm,
people in that industry. I
mm,
work in retail and restaurants, so we have our own activity. Retail Live is great, but we have a lot of really good events to go to and
mhm.
start, just start meeting people. Our oldest son is in commercial real estate, and then
Oh,
his husband ended
keep
up
off the
getting in
old block.
commercial real estate.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
And it's fun to watch, you know,
Yeah.
to see what they're doing. They've teamed up together, with a
Right.
different company, but to see
Okay.
how they get started, going to Chamber of Commerce, there's a lot of events. Go to Eventbrite, see what's
Mm,
happening in your community, and just start talking and meeting people. And don't be afraid to. People reach out to probably like you. They reach out to you on LinkedIn DM,
yeah.
ask them. I do have kind of a pet peeve about the word like pick your brain.
Oh, that
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't ask somebody to pick their brain.
Yeah, we need a different word. I agree.
Right. And
It's
so I like it.
gotta be a better word.
And then I'm like, can I buy you a cup of coffee? And then I'm like, I'm probably worth more than $4. You know, I'm kind of a steak person. If you want to take me to, a nice
Yeah,
steak
yeah,
dinner, a Mavs game, or take me to a
yeah,
concert. No, but um,
yeah, yeah,
I would say just reaching out people, and if you have anything to offer in return, say, hey, I can help you with your social media, or I can
yeah.
do a graphic for you, or I can do something in exchange for talking to you. I'm like, I'm all over that. But I do really like, meeting with people that are interested in commercial real estate. And I'll always share, 30
Mhm.
minutes to an hour of my time if I can help them or guide them how to get started.
Ah, man, oh man, yeah, the words of wisdom here. Um, uh, I need to share just a little bit here, and I have a property down south of Dallas. It's co-living, so I jumped into something completely not in my usual path because I've just been learning more and more about the younger generation and what they're faced with right now because we basically stopped really building a lot in this country when the '08 crash hit, and we still can't even catch up. So now they're faced with prices being too high when they want to start their careers and say a starter home. It's out of reach for a lot of them, and so I got involved in the co-living, and I found that when I thought I had the right property, I realized I might find a better one, but hey, it's time to jump in. And so I jumped in. Um, and it that way of doing things, I know for me personally, has come about from being mentored from people like you, from people who have done the deed in commercial real estate already, who have shown the way. Um, with the kind of courage that you've demonstrated here. So, that's just for me personally. Um, and when you become a mentor for so many people out there, um, how do you take that in a personal way? I mean, people are following what you do. People are very interested. They're buying your books. They're changing their life because of choices that you've made and leadership positions you've taken. How does that feel for you, Pam?
I guess I've never never thought about it like that, but
Okay.
yeah, just a small girl from Nebraska who's been working hard ever since detasseling corn. And
Yeah.
I think I was always born with it.
Mm.
1 cent lemonade to $1 million deals, my first book, selling lemonade for a penny. And then somebody said,
Yeah.
I doubt it if you sold it for a penny. You probably sold it for a quarter, But I was always fascinated. Even my dad, in the chicken business selling baby chickens, he'd buy them for a penny and sell them for 50 cents. But no,
Yeah.
I guess just look back at my career or life and, hope, just knowing that maybe I helped someone along the way
Yeah.
really gives me
Yeah.
joy, because you
Mm.
do forget maybe how you've helped someone. You don't even realize it, like you said, people are watching.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I feel like I'm always being Catholic. I never wanted to go to confession. So, you know,
Oh,
just to tell the truth and
yeah.
just to be open, honest, and
Hmm.
upfront. I mean, our country needs a lot more of that today. I'm just blown away of like you got to just shut off the news and
Yeah. You do.
a lot of some of the social media and just because when you walk out there with the people or you go to a restaurant, you're like, this thing is booming and people are nice,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyways, I just hope to be,
Okay.
really remembered as someone who, just was a good person. So
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. This has been an incredible conversation here. Very inspiring and wonderful. And for me, chance to get to know you a little bit. And I hope I can be of some help with the Zoom clips I'll send off. And if there's anything on a future, um, as far as your business concerns go, with uh, with technology that can be helpful. Me and my team are here for people that want to pursue any of that. Uh,
that's what
I'm
I would really love to hear about. That caught my attention on your profile on your LinkedIn of what you're doing with the AI and real estate and technology. I'd love to, maybe we can
sure.
hop on another call. I'd love to see what you're doing on that.
That would be great. Yeah. Why don't we do that then? And yeah, for me, I've spent, a lot of my career doing typical kind of real estate, but then I realized, hey, AI is coming down the block and it's coming at us like a freight train. And, I want to make sure I can ride it and not let it kind of run over me. And I also have a big interest in trying to shape it to help people and trying to shape it to help our families and not be another thing that kind of divides up our families here. And I know, I'm kind of at the end of my career here, but I wanted to see how I could make this work in a good way to help us. I, and
Oh,
yeah,
I love that. Yeah, let's hop
and
on a call.
I'm
I'd
still
love,
trying to find that. I'm still trying to,
yeah.
find that part of it. And so yeah, that would be great. I mean, we'll have a chance to talk more. I'll send you the Zoom clips.
Yes.
You've got your book to finish writing, and you're a very busy person. I want to thank you so much for the time you spent here, Pam.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you, Bill, for reaching out. I've really
yeah,
enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing how we maybe can collaborate something together. If I can help you on your Dallas project or just whatever you
okay,
need help with, let's see what we can do together.
very good. All right, thank you, Pam. Yeah, all right, and we'll look forward to chatting again. If you've got see these Zoom clips, our people will kind of clean up the whole thing and do what they do on the technology side. And perhaps we could meet again next week. It might take them a day or two. Doesn't take them that long these days, and they'll put all the snippets together, package them up, and then you can get it into your social feed. So
Oh,
yeah,
good. I am
perhaps
like
if you
31,000 on LinkedIn, so I'll be happy to share.
all righty. Okay. We'll look forward to chatting again and perhaps next week sometime. We'll see. And good luck. And I'm going to be
Sounds
looking
good.
forward to that book that you're putting out here.
All
So,
right. Thanks
yeah.
a lot, Bill. It's been good. Nice to meet you.